Welcome to a wee bit of cooking, and this week we're making mince pies. It's only a couple of weeks from Christmas, so it's a great time to have a go at a little bit of pastry, and it's a lot easier than you think. It's a very simple recipe. You can use plain gluten-free flour or one of the mixes, Juvela, Gluten, one of those, and they make great little mince pies. So these are super, and they're fun to make. They're great with the kids to make, but they're very simple and very tasty. So have a go, and thanks again for joining us. So to get started with our mince pies, we have our ingredients. Very simple: 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of butter, 2 eggs, some orange rind and some orange juice. So just from one decent sized orange. Our eggs are in 2 separate bowls. One is for the egg wash, so that's the brushing the top of the pastry before it goes in the oven to make it go golden and crispy. And the other one is for adding to our mix. So the first thing we do is make breadcrumbs. So basically we combine our butter and our flour. The secret really is to try and do it with your fingertips. Crumble it through and just rub it between your finger and between your fingertips with each hand, and it becomes a fine crumb. Some recipes call for lard. I'm just going to cut the butter up here into smaller pieces. But yeah, some recipes call for lard and margarine, and that's fine. It's using something pretty solid like that gives you a good pastry. I'm just using butter, it just makes it a little bit richer. So I'm just going to pop all that in there. And same again, just going to cut it into cubes. I wouldn't go for the really heavy lards. I wouldn't go for the stork, that sort of thing, but certainly margarine and some of the cooking lards are fine. But as I like butter. Butter's nice, gives you a nice rich pastry. So I'm just going to press that in and then start to get it rubbed through. What you don't want to do is squish it. You don't want to compress it, combine it really tightly. You just need to squeeze the butter a little bit to get it to break up. But do it in the flour, and then you'll not end up all sticky with butter. Because if the butter gets onto you, the flour sticks to you, and then you're doomed. You've got to keep working through it to get it to take up off your fingers. So once that's broken up, you can start to rub it. So it just takes a little while, but it's well worth doing fairly slowly, just to get a nice crumb texture, because that texture is the setup for your pastry. When you've got that, then you're halfway there. The rest is just combining the ingredients, a quick roll out, and then cutting it into shapes to match your tins. So I'm using just normal tartlet tins, just a round shape. You could use the silicone ones, you could make some interesting shapes. You could even use holders, the cupcake cases. There are silicone ones out there, which I've seen, but I think for ease and for numbers, for making a lot of them, I just like to use the tins and get them all into the oven fairly quickly and easily. So there are lots of different variations out there for mince pies, all different added flavourings. This one's got a little bit of orange in it, a little bit of orange juice, and that's just to make it a little bit stickier, just to make our dough a little bit wetter. It makes it soft, makes it easy to work with. But certainly have a look online, there are lots of great variations. I'm not making my own mince meat, by the way, it's a sweet mince. I've got 2 different jars to try here. One is Robertson's, and the other one is Sainsbury's own brand. So they both don't have gluten on the ingredients. But we're going to try them just for flavour. The Sainsbury's one smells a lot sweeter, I suspect. It's a bit higher in sugar. The Robertson's ones smells a bit more like the traditional shop-bought type of mince pie. So I'm going to try a little bit of both and see which one I prefer. But it's up to yourself. You can make your own. You know, it's something there's lots of recipes out there for. There's a lot of fruit and water and sugar required, but it's up to yourself. It would be quite time consuming over Christmas, I think, to start that. But you can buy big jars of it as well. I've just got 2 of the smaller ones here. So if you're doing a lot, you can get some fairly big jars of mincemeat mixture. There we go, so we have it coming up to a nice crumb now. It's taken on all the colour of the butter, so we've got a nice yellowy looking flour. So hands are not too dirty, so I haven't got too much butter on there. And there's still a few lumps. You don't want lumps. You don't want a chunk of butter in your pie. So we'll just finish working that through. As you can see from our tremendous budget that we've gone all out on the Christmas decorations here behind me. There's our string of lights. There are for a bit more decorations around the house, but just in the kitchen this is as far as we've got so far. We've also had an inquiry from Carol who has emailed in asking about gluten-free menus for Christmas. So there are lots of menus out there. They pretty much all revolve around turkey and vegetables, and that's everything else is a variation on that. Different starters, different desserts, Christmas puddings, gatos, that sort of thing. But it'd be a nice idea to put together a range of menus. So if you have an interesting menu, or even if it's just a very traditional menu, you don't need all the recipe, you don't need to provide everything, but just an idea of what you're having for starters, main course, desserts, what you're doing, and share them on the website, share them on the social pages. Certainly if you have photographs, that'd be brilliant, send them in. So I've sent back a couple of suggestions. There's traditional turkey dinner and there's variations on the meat, but also fish is quite popular. There have been some queries, butchers telling people you can't have ham, you can't have fish when you're celiac or not taking gluten, but certainly with ham, if it's crumbed, then that's different. Fish is fine unless it's battered. It's got to be a gluten-free batter, but just regular fish, regular ham is perfectly fine. So we'll post that up on the website and on the social pages, and we'll try and get together a collection of your Christmas Day menus and see what people are having. So there's our fine breadcrumbs, so they look lovely. So next thing then is just to mix in 1 egg. So I'm just going to pour that straight in. And it's just lightly beaten, so basically just combine the yolk and the white and our orange rind. And then we'll combine that. We'll put in our orange juice, but we only want just enough orange juice to make it a soft dough. So at the minute it's going to be a slightly stickier dough. So I'm just using one hand here to keep the other hand clean until we get it formed into more of a ball that we can work with. That's it, coming together now. There we go. So ultimately we want this to form into a ball that we can then knead and we can put out on our table. So the other thing I'm using here is a little blue square. You can see there is there's all different names for them, but Magic Carpet's one of them. Basically it's just a non-stick sheet. You don't have to use them, you can just use just a bit of flour, put down whatever you're using. So I've got plain gluten-free flour here. If you're using a mix, like a Juvela mix or Gluten or one of the pre-made baking mixes, you just, whatever you're using in your pastry is what you sprinkle on your table to stop it sticking. But you don't have to go mad, unless you're really pressing it onto the table, which you don't want to do, then it shouldn't really stick too much. But these are handy. I'm working on raw wood here. This is wood not treated, so I just want to have a little bit of the mat there to help me knead it, roll it and lift it again. So there's it coming together now. Squish it into a bit of a ball now. So I'm going to add a little bit of the orange juice. Let's see how that comes together. It's a great orangey smell, so it's another good smell for having around the house at Christmas. So basically I want this to be a soft dough, and that feels fairly soft now. That is very quickly started to come together. You can see it's sticking. You don't want a wet dough, you don't want that you can work, so that's about as wet as we would want it. Pull off the extra bits here. Press that in. There we go. And we have a nice workable ball. So we'll move these to one side. And there we have our ball. So they have a bit of magic carpet here. We put down a wee bit of flour, but I'm just going to work straight on it here. You can hear it's still sticking a little bit, so you might need a wee bit of flour anyway. That's the orange juice in it. So we want to knead this well, so give it a good working. Just folding it in, pressing it down, and rolling it back up. Give it a good press. You did use some baking paper and baking parchment for this as well. Just remember that you're going to be using a cookie cutter on it. So you don't want something that you can't press a cookie cutter onto. There we go. It's coming together very nicely. And starting to get a bit stickier now. And we're getting nearly ready to roll it out. It's nice and smooth looking. So I'm going to get a wee bit of extra flour just for our rolling pin, and we'll need our cookie cutters. As I say, we're going to use just a regular tray. So this is a normal tray. I'm just coating it with butter. So don't be afraid to give it plenty of butter in there. So I've just got a bit of kitchen roll here and some butter on it and run it around. Make sure it's well greased, because the last thing you want is to make beautiful pastry that sits in there and stays in there. You want to be able to lift them out without it crumbling everywhere, and you'll lose all your mince and your pastry. So one tray done, I've got another one to do. So I'm going to get a wee bit of flour, get cookie cutters, grease the next tray, and get ready to roll this out. Okay, so we're back with the cookie cutters for our pies. A couple of different ways of cutting out your cookies, or your pies rather. You want to try and you want one for your base. So you want one to fill your tin, fill each tartlet's base. So you need one about that size. It's going to fill the base and up the side. So it's got to be bigger than that size, bigger than this diameter. Then you want one for a lid, if you're doing lids. If you're not, you can just cut out stars, something that's going to fit into that shape. So it depends what you have, any kind of Christmas shapes. I have some new little Christmas trees here that are about the size of my tartlet tin, so I can cut some little Christmas trees for it. In this case I'm going to try some lids, and then we'll put a couple of knife marks in it just to let the steam out. But basically we need one that's about the size of the top, which is about that size, for our lids, and then one that's bigger for our actual pie itself. So we'll try that size and see how it goes. But we'll make one, make sure that it fits, and then we can try another one if it's the wrong size. What you don't want to do is cut them all out and then find you have to recut them all. We'll keep them aside. We've got a little bit of flour. Dust that off. And dust our rolling pin as well. There we go. So you don't need to crush the pastry. You're not trying to drive it into your table. You basically just want to roll it out. It doesn't have to be a magnificent round shape or anything. You're going to cut it with cookie cutters anyway. So. But what you want is a nice even thickness. So that's quite nice. It's about 5 mil. I have no idea what that is in inches. It's an eighth of an inch maybe. It's a bit thinner than a pound coin or a 20-cent coin maybe. So first thing we're going to try then is our our main pie. So that would be our pie and maybe a lid. Let's lift it out nicely. We'll lift this one. So you could use a palette knife for this, or you could use a fish slice or anything at all. We'll see how that fits in to our pie dish. So it fits in nicely in that it goes down into it. We could maybe put the lid within the whole tartlet, but I think that's going to be too small. So we're going to squish that one back out again. No good. I'll try the next size up. There we go. And then we'll keep that one as our lid. The bigger they are, of course, the fewer you're going to get. Then you may want to roll them out a little bit thinner. So we'll try this one. And that's a good size. Maybe a little bit thick on the pastry, so I'm going to roll it a little bit more, but size-wise for the tin, that fits quite well. And then this one, slightly smaller one, will give us a good sized lid. Yeah, lovely. So that gives us a nice sized lid across the top. But as I say, we're just going to roll that one out a little bit thinner. Like all doughs, you don't want to work them too much, and you don't want to have to keep adding flour, because the more flour you add to it, the more you're drying this out, of course. And then you end up adding a little more liquid, a little more flour, until you end up with enough pastry to feed the street. Not too bad there. We'll try our base again. We get 3 there. We get 3 for our lids. So again, it depends on the size of your tin. I'm using quite a large tin here to make quite big mince pies. So just going to peel away the extra bits here. And then, as I'm using the carpet, I can lift these up a little bit. These are our lids and our pies. Slide that in. So I don't want to push it in because I don't want to poke a hole in it. So I'm basically pulling the edges together to let it drop down into it. Just checking our oven is up to temperature, to 190 degrees. And we have one more. And then our three lids which will go on top, so they're grand. Now, we'll just spoon in our mixture. So, a little bit of space here. So we've got the Robertson's one first. I'm going to try that. A wee bit of a stir, make sure it hasn't settled. We end up with 2 totally different flavoured pies. So you want enough filling that it feels well filled, but not so much that it's overflowing and bubbling all over your oven, especially a hot, sticky sugar mix like this. You don't want to be skimpy either. Nobody likes skinny empty mince pies. So do the Robertson's ones and these ones, and then I'm going to do the Sainsbury's mix and the other one. See what it's like. Lovely. And pop our lids on. So now just press that on slightly. Just so it combines, press it into the edge of the pie, just so they stick together, and gives us a nice dimple effect around the outside edge. So we have one more, of course. A lid ruled out for that one. So the other thing we have to do then is make sure if you're putting a full lid on there, is make sure that you cut a couple of holes in the top to let the steam out. Doing a little bit decorative, 3 angled cuts on it. There we go. And that'll be one of our pies ready to go. So I have a lot of pies to make. I'm going to feed a lot of people, so I'm going to be making a little bit more pastry and fill them up, and then we'll test our 2 different flavours. Pop them in the oven 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll get our egg wash on before we pop them in, just to give them that nice golden crisp colour, and then we'll come back when they're ready and see how they go. So our first batch are just out of the oven. They're still quite hot. You can see I haven't stuck the lids down too tightly, so our lids are a little bit loose, but not the end of the world. So I've had them in nearly 20 minutes there. A little bit of icing sugar. I'm just going to pop it into the sieve and tap that lightly over the top for a bit of snoop. There we go. Lovely. And there we have our plate of mince pie. So we have another batch in, still to go. We'll have a try at one of these. Nice and flaky. They certainly smell great. Now these are still very hot, so they probably benefit from a huge pile of cream, as most things do. But they are good. The pastry is lovely. The mince meat is always going to be what it is in the jar, but that pastry is lovely. It's nice and sweet, and got a real biscuity flavour, or biscuity texture to it. So yeah, so those are great. So I'm going to look forward to those. So thank you very much for watching, and do join us again next week. Next week I'm actually off. I'm going to be holidaying slightly. I'm away for a couple of days. Hopefully I'll get something videoed while I'm away, but I'm just going to County Fermanagh, so we're going to have a look at what there is on offer over there. In the meantime, we have a great video demo from Juvella, so we'll be sharing that next week. So Rosemary from Juvella was doing a great demonstration in Cookstown last week, and she did a whole range of dishes, so we have some of those for you, and we'll be sharing that next week. And then the week after, I'll come back. Hopefully we'll have something more for Christmas and see what we've been cooking in Fermanagh. So again, thank you very much for watching, and do send us in any comments, anything you'd like to see, and share your recipes as well as your menus for Christmas. So do share whatever you're planning, or things that you would aspire to have for Christmas Day. Desserts, starters and main course as well. So share them all on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest and on the website. And we'll see you again soon.